Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Monday Jumpstart. It's good to have you with us here, and it's good to see more and more people coming online and watching and joining us each week. And as you help us spread the word, we appreciate that. We hope that we are giving you some value each week, some things to think about, things to ponder that will help you in your leadership, your communication, and your personal growth. Well, last week we took a road trip. In fact, we broadcast right from the road in the car, and I hope you enjoy that. If you didn't get a chance to take a look at that video, take a look back at it now. But today, I'm going to talk to you about something known as the law of expansion. And I'm going to give you a very simple illustration to help you understand this in just a couple of moments. But the law of expansion is simply this. It says if you want to expand your capacity, the first place to start is, guess where? Right here, right in your mind. You have to believe that you can be more than what you currently are, that you can achieve so much more than what you currently have. The mind is very powerful. And with this law of expansion, you have to begin thinking that you have the capacity to expand your horizons. And what happens is you start with what you can do right now. So how do you increase your capacity? You start with doing really well what you're good at. Don't try to do all these new things and expand that way. Do what you're really good at. And as you get good at that, what will happen is you will discover then other things that will cause you to expand your capacity. You'll discover other things, other abilities that you have, because as you move into your giftedness, naturally what will happen is your giftedness will then expand in other areas, because when you become really good at what you're good at now, when you really begin to exercise that, it's like a muscle. And what happens when you exercise a muscle? When you exercise a muscle, it expands. And so you're going to be able to expand your capacity by exercising what it is you do already. Let me give you a simple illustration. This is a rubber band. Now, this is pretty much a useless piece of material as we're looking at it right now. In fact, when you get a rubber band in its original state, it's no good. I mean, it does nothing. Watch that. What's its purpose? Its purpose is to hold something together. So what you have to do is, in order to make a rubber band effective, you have to expand it. You have to expand it. So you put it around something that is already tight, and then when you expand it, it causes that to work and to hold on and to do what it was created to do. So the best way for a rubber band to work is to expand it. So I want you to look at your capacity that way as well. The best way to expand your horizons is to stretch yourself. So get good at what you're good at right now, and then begin to stretch yourself. Rise above your average. Ask more of yourself than others ask. So if you have to get to your job at a certain hour in the morning and everyone else gets there at that time, maybe you come in a few minutes earlier. Maybe someone asks something of you on the job and you can do exactly what's required, or you can go a little bit extra and do the extra mile. I'll tell you what happened with me a long time ago when I was in the news business. I first started out as a reporter, and I saw the possibilities that were in the newsroom in which I worked. I saw things that we could have been doing, that we should be doing, that we weren't doing. And what did I start to do? I started to experiment, and I started to reach out beyond my boundaries, and I started to do more. And what happened was management took notice. And as management took notice, they expanded my responsibilities. They expanded my capabilities of what I was able to do, what I was allowed to do on the job. And then it caused me to rise up in the ranks. Not because that's specifically what I was looking to do, but because it was just the natural course of action based on the fact that I was expanding my horizons. I was expanding what I was capable of doing. And to be honest with you, when I first started out doing this, I was just doing it because I thought it was the best course of action. And as I went on, I realized that, hey, I can do this. And I can read more, and I can study more, and I can look at and see people who are doing this and who have gone before me, and I can learn from them. And as I do that, I can grow myself. And as I grew, it caused my job and my responsibilities to grow, and that was recognized by those who were over top of me. And as a result, at one point, I became in charge of an entire news department, both radio and television, and that was in large part because I expanded my capabilities and I went beyond what my normal responsibilities were and reached out and tried new things. And as I did, others noticed. Growth. Here's something that growth will do. As you grow, it will always naturally expand your capacity. So if you continue to grow, your capacity is going to grow as well. You need to ask yourself if you have a specific plan as well. Do you have a plan? We've been talking about this since we began our video series, and I want to come back to this a little bit. Do you have a plan? Do you have something, a plan laid out to get from point A to point B? Because that's important as you're looking to grow yourself as well. So if you want to increase your capacity, you want to have a plan laid out to get where you want to go. We talked about taking the journey last week, and we'll get back on that track next week and talk about some more things that you can do as you take your journey to whatever your goal is. But one of the ways you can get there faster is to have a plan laid out and to expand your capabilities and expand what you're able to do just by experimenting and trying new things and moving out beyond your comfort zone. You know, most of us stay in our comfort zone. Most of us, why? Because it's comfortable, because that's why we call it that. We feel like when we're in our comfort zone, there are less risks and there are less opportunities to fail. But when you're expanding your capacity, you're going to naturally fail. You're going to naturally stumble. You're naturally going to take steps back. That's okay. But as you do that, you're expanding your capacity, and you're taking that rubber band and you're stretching it. As you're stretching it, you're allowing it to be what it was meant to be. You're allowing yourself to be who you were meant to be. There's a story once of one of the greatest cellists of all time. He was 95 years old. And guess what? He practiced for 6 hours every day. And he was asked by someone, why do you still practice 6 hours a day when you're the greatest cellist in the world, when you have achieved all that you've achieved in the musical world? And he said, why do I do that? Because I actually think I'm making progress. So you see, there's that mental attitude. It begins up here, to realize that you've never fully arrived, that there's always more things you can do. And if you go into each day with that kind of mentality, if you enter each day with the thought inside that I can always learn more, I can always expand more, I don't want to rest where I am right now, I don't want to sit on what I know and just remain stagnant, I want to grow. If you go into each day with that attitude, you'd be surprised how by the end of that day, you'll realize as you look back what you've learned, how you've grown, and how you've gotten closer and closer to your goal. So that's my challenge for you today and for this week, is to look into the law of expansion, to expand your capabilities and your capacity and stretch yourself. Stretch yourself in some area this week. Well, thank you for spending your time with me, and we'd appreciate a thumbs up, thumbs down if you really don't care for what you've heard. We just want you to respond. Leave me some comments and spread the word and tell others about what's going on here each Monday with our Jumpstart, and we appreciate it. And until then, we'll see you next week, and while you're out there this week, stretch your capacity, expand yourself, and go out and make a difference.